Nathaniel Bandy. Striving for originality.
Hey guys, this is Nathaniel Bandy.
Hey guys, it's Jacob again.
And today we are collabing again to talk about the internet!
Yeah, we're gonna be trying to theorize what gaming would be like without the internet nowadays, and pretty much all facets of life, I guess, because the internet's so engrossed in all of our lives now, so it'll be interesting.
I think, first off, if the internet didn't exist right now, we wouldn't be talking. I wouldn't know who you are.
Exactly. That's one thing, actually that is one thing I do want to touch on. The fact that I think gaming as a whole has gotten so much bigger just strictly because of the internet, and I think a lot of people are finding relationships, because you know how people say about gaming, you know, people always tend to be, I guess, outcasts, or you could say that, you know, and I think because of gaming, I think a lot of people have been able to come together online, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole all this online internet stuff has kind of not only brought people together, but we've been able to develop a community, and you know, we're not so much of outcasts anymore. You know, Call of Duty is like, it's a cool thing to play now. Yeah. You know, not just Call of Duty. I mean, gaming in general is just, it's a cool thing to do. It's no longer seen as a, oh, you play video games? Oh, you're so nerdy, or whatever.
I like that. I mean, I guess you're still gonna have those people out there who are like that, obviously, and those people are just morons, and we just have to write them off as that. But I think it's nice that gaming as a whole has become so much more mainstream, and I think due to the internet, I think that really has helped a lot. But then we also have to think that sometimes online gaming communities aren't the nicest places to be, but I guess with anything, you know, there's a negative to everything, I guess, if you want to think like that.
You know, and I think probably one of the biggest problems with the internet existing and having everything be so compatible with video games is that since games are so mainstream, the big AAA developers don't want to take a chance and try to make, you know, something creative. I mean, go back to the NES. There were so many types of games and characters and franchises on the NES. And now there's like, what? Like, look at the Xbox. There's Halo.
Exactly.
PlayStation, there's Uncharted, there's The Last of Us, and Nintendo's got, you know, they've got a few more franchises, but they're kind of just branching off of the same, I don't know, the same five or six franchises. And, you know, we're not seeing as much creativity as we used to.
Yeah, I think in regards to that, I think it's because it's easier to see people talking about games online now and whatnot, so I think it's easier to know exactly what many of the fans want, because I think there's actually a game theory out there talking about people don't want innovation. They may think that they want innovation, but they want the same thing over and over because it's familiar to them on like a personal level, and they know exactly what they're going to get from it. So I think that is probably the biggest deal right now, and I guess this doesn't just have to do with the internet, but just as the industry as a whole, we're not seeing much innovation nowadays, which is one reason why I love indie games a lot, because it's something new and creative, and it's just really refreshing sometimes to see that. And I think that's something that wouldn't be possible without the internet either, and just technology getting better and more accessible in general. And that's really nice to see a lot of indie developers rise up now.
Yeah, independent developers wouldn't exist without the internet, because how else are they going to be able to talk? How else would they be able to talk to the really huge companies? Just roll in with no money and say, hey, I've got a cool idea for a game, and no one's going to listen to their pitch.
Yeah, exactly, and that's awesome to me. I love that people can get in more direct contact now with big corporations. Like, I love the fact that Nintendo is actually partnering with some indie developers and getting, like the Commander Video trophy in Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. That's awesome. I mean, Commander Video isn't even like a Nintendo-centric character, but I think he appeals more to the Nintendo fanbase, and that's really awesome that they can get stuff like that in Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, and I hope to see more stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, Smash Bros. Is pretty much Nintendo's marketing tool. That's what that game is.
Exactly.
They add some franchise in Smash Bros., people are going to know about it, and then they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to check this game out, and then I'm going to play it.
Exactly. I mean, why do we have 4 Fire Emblem characters in the new Smash? Because of Fire Emblem Awakening. And, you know, why do we have so many Pokemon characters? Because, you know, they want to buy Pokemon X and Y. I mean, that's kind of always been Nintendo's marketing strategy for most of the games, I think, was with Smash Brothers. And I think it was really apparent on the original version. Like, nobody knew who Ness was. Nobody had a clue. And then Ness was in Smash, and everybody's like, "Oh, what is he from?" So then they go check out Earthbound, you know, stuff like that, which is awesome.
Well, Earthbound was more of a Japanese franchise back
Exactly.
when the original Smash Bros. Came out.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that they do that, and you know, it's smart that they have Shulk in Smash Bros. Because now a lot of people are interested in Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm actually pretty interested in Xenoblade Chronicles now.
Yeah, it's really good. It's fantastic. I guess
And I'm not much of a RPG gamer, but I don't know, it just looks badass. I've just gotta say that.
yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. I think with the combat system, it's kind of one of those things where you either love it or you can't get used to it, because it is slightly odd. But we are already off topic, so I guess to circle it back, something like Nintendo Directs are nice, and gaming as a whole it just wouldn't be the same without the internet nowadays, because people are so used to being able to get news directly from companies and from various news sites and all that stuff. I mean, when you think about it, you'd have to go back to how it used to be, and you'd have to get magazines, or you have to read stuff in newspapers, or it's just word of mouth in general, or you have to watch stuff on TV. I mean, commercials were a lot bigger back in the day. I mean, nowadays you don't. I mean, commercials are one way of advertising, but I mean, there's a very small demographic of people out there who solely need commercials for advertising, because there's so much on the internet. I mean, good God, there's, you know, billboards everywhere, there's ads on your phone. I mean, it's everywhere now.
Yeah, I mean, and Nintendo would still be alive too if the internet didn't exist.
Yeah.
Which I gotta say, it was a very sad day when Nintendo Power went, because I really loved that magazine.
Yeah, I have so many good memories of Nintendo Power as a child, because I actually got a subscription from my aunt. I think when I was really young when I got that, I'm pretty sure. And then I also had a friend whose dad collected Nintendo Power magazines. What we would do is we would run through some of the old ones, and then we'd play like on his NES games. And because in Nintendo Power magazines they would include maps, like huge world maps of all, like there's a Legend of Zelda one, I remember there was a Metroid one, and we would go through and follow it and try to beat the game like that when we were really young, and that was fun. I mean, that was good bonding moments. Nowadays, you know, people can just look up everything on the internet if they want. So I think gaming, while on one end I think gaming has become more communal because of the internet, but I think it's also become more secluded because people don't have to get together to play with other people. And I think that is hurtful.
Well, that's just
in one sense.
That's just like the internet in general, not
exactly.
It's not just video games. I mean, look at social media applications like Facebook or Twitter. It's made people so antisocial.
Yeah.
I mean, like, one thing, when I first started going to college, I take the bus to school, and you know, sometimes I'll count heads to see how many people on the bus are on their phones. It's always more than 80 or 90%. It's honestly kind of depressing to look at.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel like whenever I go out to eat, and like, say I'm just out eating, I don't know, with my family, and I look over and I see other families, and these kids who are in like 5th and 6th grade who have cell phones are just sitting there on their phone, and they're not engaging with their parents at all.
They're supposed to be learning, they need to learn how to actually communicate first before using a phone to communicate. That's not how you should teach a child to communicate.
Exactly. I just, that's such a huge pet peeve of mine. I mean, I don't expect you to be like, you know, best friends with your parents, because I mean, they're your parents, you know, they don't have to be your friends, like, they're your parents. But engage with them on a certain level. I mean, not even just with your parents, I mean, other kids have horrible communication skills now because of things like social media and phones, and it's kind of a double-edged sword because technology can help our lives out so much, and at the other side of the spectrum, it's just, like you said, it's creating so many anti-social people, and that's just, it's not good. I kind of worry about the future with that, like with businesses and stuff. Like, how are these people going to be able to interact with others?
I have no idea. I feel like, I don't mean to sound so negative, but it's probably really going to end up really bad if people cannot get along with each other.
Yeah, exactly. I think people, I think the internet I think
it's only good for people that already know how to communicate in the first place, honestly.
Exactly. I kind of think that's kind of how I feel about our generation, because I want to say we were the last people who grew up without really substantial, like, high-speed internet. Because I mean, like, when me and you were younger, the internet existed, but it wasn't even close to the spectrum
it was really
of now.
bad.
Like, I mean, it wasn't even usable. unless you were like part of the government. I mean, you wouldn't. The everyday man would not go out and casually surf the web because, I mean, good God, dial-up was so terrible. And even after dial-up,
it took like an hour to load a video sometimes.
Exactly. Like, even after dial-up, it still wasn't very good. I would say not until about 2003 did internet really become more of a mainstream accessible tool for everybody to use because, I mean, the bandwidth prices were terrible. I mean, you know, back then computers were mainly just business purposes and that were used for like word processing and stuff. And I mean, there was some stuff obviously to build games on and whatnot, but it wasn't like now. I mean, now, you know, looking at computers now, it's so much more different than how it used to be.
Yeah, we got off topic again.
Well, we were still talking about the internet. At least we weren't talking about Xenoblade this time.
We were getting into social issues though.
That is, I mean,
but
honestly, that is a huge
it's all
part of gaming now.
So.
Yeah,
that's
it's
true.
kind of hard to talk about just how gaming is affected because the internet's so vital, I think, in everybody's lives nowadays. It's such a big deal. It really is.
I also think if the internet didn't exist, we'd probably be much more closed-minded in what games we play. I mean, we wouldn't have a variety of games. We would still be playing the same games that we played as a child. So if you bought like Sonic or something, you'd be playing the new Sonic games because you didn't want to risk buying the other games because it'd be a lot harder to find out what the other games were like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true, but then whenever you still see people out there playing like nostalgic games, even though they know about all these new games, I mean, I guess that kind of says something for like the quality of many new games nowadays. I mean, that can be a completely new topic for another day, but I just felt like that needed to be said.
Oh yeah, like a lot of times, you know, half the time when I play games leisurely, probably half the time I'm playing retro stuff. I don't really play modern games too often unless they get like fantastic scores. If they get 7s or 8s from reviewers, I don't play those. I only play games that get 9s or 10s because I guess I'm kind of picky now. But
there's just actually that's something that we definitely should talk about. Game journalism on the internet is horrid. It is horrid.
It is pretty bad.
Oh my God, that is something that has annoyed me because I really appreciate whenever I go back. I have tons of old Nintendo Power magazines. Whenever I go back and read the quality of these articles, it's like, you know, these people really worked to get onto this magazine, and I think that's something that's really absent from so many journalist sites nowadays is quality and hard work ethic, because you can tell the difference between a good journalist and a horrible journalist really quickly, especially with like syntax.
Well, the problem is that the thing is technology moves so quickly and so fast that they have a pressure to get things done quickly, so it's harder for them to produce quality.
Yeah.
That's another big flaw with the internet. You know, it's evolving so quickly that we can't adapt fast enough to be able to get used to it.
Yeah, I think the internet really has made people more impatient. And I can't sit here and say that much about that because I'm a really impatient person, but I think
sometimes.
I think as a whole, the internet has made people restless and really impatient with news. I mean, they have to have news, you know, quickly, right then and there. If they don't have it as soon as possible and it be accurate, then they go somewhere else.
It's all about the money.
But what you were saying about review scores interested me, though, because I completely agree. There's so many review scores out there nowadays that are completely false. I mean, Assassin's Creed Unity, I'm sorry. If that game is riddled with bugs and glitches, it doesn't deserve a 7 or an 8. I cannot believe how many review sites I saw give it that. That's obnoxious. It should be getting 3s and 4s because it's not complete. That's something the internet has done that annoys me, because I don't like games, you know, back in the 90s, if you released a game, it had to be done because you couldn't patch it.
If there would be no patches if the internet didn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, we might actually get some complete games again.
If the game's broken, the game was broken, and that was that.
Yeah, Superman 64. That game never got updates. It always sucked, and it still sucks. There's so many games nowadays that have bugs, and they're not fun because they're annoying and they ruin the gameplay. You know, if the game had bugs...
just look at Sonic Boom.
Oh.
Have you heard about Sonic Boom?
Yeah, I've heard it's really bad.
Some people are saying it's worse than Sonic 06, and I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. It doesn't look worse than that game. But regardless, it's still littered with bugs.
Did you hear that the development team of that, like half the people who worked on it, apparently abandoned the project because they like didn't want their name on the credits at the end of that? And I don't blame them. I mean, that's pathetic. That game, I mean, there's no reason to have a game have to meet a deadline so bad that you are literally tarnishing the name of a franchise even further. That's not worth it.
Have they not learned from E.T.?
Have they not learned from the last, what, how many Sonic games now has it been since we've had a good one? Generations was good.
Sonic Generations, that was pretty good. And a lot of people have said Sonic Colors was pretty good, but I haven't tried that yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, you should check it out. I had it for the Wii. It was pretty fun. I actually enjoyed it a lot. Colors and Generations were the only two Sonic games I have liked a lot since either the Sonic Advance series or Sonic Adventure 2. Otherwise, hate all Sonic games have been 3D pretty much.
It's amazing that they can still make how can they continuously make so many mediocre Sonic games in a row?
It's so frustrating because when we were younger, I mean, good God, Sonic on the Genesis was incredible. It was so good. It was
amazing.
Fun to have something so fast. I mean, even believing that's something else that the internet would be able to debunk was blast processing. I mean, God, the fact that Sega could get away with lying to the consumer, basically, I mean, that's hilarious to think about nowadays because that, you know, I mean,
that would never happen today.
Exactly, not on that scale. I mean, companies still lie to consumers, but I mean, it's not like, well, I mean, nothing that atrocious I can't think of, except for Ubisoft, like with they're saying 60 frames per second is better than 30. I mean, or no, the other way, 30 frames per second is better than 60.
That's just kind of
yeah.
For the cinematic feel, apparently.
Exactly. It's got to be cinematic. Hey, I have a friend who, me and him strongly believe Ubisoft should just make movies. Because that's pretty much what they make now, is movies. So
they really should.
Yeah,
honestly, there's quite a few game companies, like The Last of Us being made into a movie, Assassin's Creed should be made into a movie.
Exactly. I think I'm actually excited for those because I used to like Assassin's Creed a lot before it became a yearly franchise and became watered up, and I don't like it anymore. I would still like to follow the story because I find it interesting, and the same with The Last of Us. Now, I think The Last of Us is a really good game, and I don't want to take anything away from that.
Fantastic. It's probably my favorite next-gen game, honestly.
Do you have a PS4 and Xbox One?
No.
Okay,
I can't afford those.
Yeah, feel you, man. I didn't know if you were talking about that or you were talking about like last gen when you were saying next gen.
Oh yeah. Oh, next gen is still going. I'm talking about last gen, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I haven't really played any. I've only played a couple games.
Yeah, continue. Sorry.
Oh, what were you saying?
Oh, I mean, I can talk in a second. You were still talking about what we were just discussing.
I don't even remember what I was saying.
Well, that's what happens whenever you get too excited. I'm sorry.
It's no big deal. It's no big deal.
I was just gonna talk about digital downloads because that's something that's still it's becoming really prolific in the game industry now, and we're starting to see a transition with people who prefer to download stuff.
I might actually, well, Smash Bros. Will already be out, but I'm considering actually digitally downloading it just because I don't want to pay the extra sales tax that I'd have to pay at a GameStop. But at the same time, it's like I have to keep that Wii U system and hope that the next Nintendo console will allow me to bring the new Smash Bros. To the next console, which is kind of a scary thing with digital downloading. You never know how long you're actually going to be able to keep your copy.
Yeah, that's true. I'm kind of running into that right now, actually, because I downloaded Smash for the 3DS because I always wanted it on my person whenever I had my 3DS with me, and I'm actually going to be getting a 2DS, and I'm going to be transferring everything over there because I really like playing Smash on a 2DS. It feels really great. And whenever the new 3DS comes out, I'm still debating on getting one. And if I transfer it, I don't want to transfer Smash because Smash on a 2DS is like godly, and I love that. So yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that.
I love 2DS.
Is it really that good on a 2DS?
It's so comfortable. It is so comfortable.
You're a sucker for the transparent 2DS.
I love the transparent 2DS. Oh my god. But I actually am not getting one. As hard as that is to believe, if you're watching this and you're flipping out because I just said that, I found out that it was plastic. Hey, I found out through the internet that it was complete plastic. I thought there was going to be like a matte plastic hybrid, but it's just complete plastic, and I don't really like how that feels. It feels really cheap to me. So I went ahead and got a normal 2DS with the matte finish because it feels really good.
No, I actually got the Have you seen the Smash Bros. 3DS XL bundle?
Wait, it's a bundle? I thought it was just the 3DS.
Well, yeah, it's just a 3DS, but have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I sold my old 3DS for that because, like, I loved playing Smash Bros. On the 3DS, but I wanted a bigger screen. And I was like, I might as well get this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it was so worth it.
I like my XL a lot, but I do have a friend who really wants one. And I was like, you know what? I really want a 2DS anyway, because I like how comfortable it is. So, and I never use a 3D at all, so I figured I'd sell it to him.
Yeah. A 3D is a big gimmick.
Yeah, I mean, it could be cool for, I think for Mario, or Super Mario 3D Land and Link Between Worlds, there was some use to it, but it wasn't anything dramatic, and I played most of it in 2D anyway. It's kind of one of those things I just want to watch for cutscenes, and then I turn it right back off.
I mean, I really think that they shouldn't have put so much emphasis on the 3D, because like you said, it's something you only use for a couple of games. I don't know why they have 3D in the title of the console itself. Because I used it for Mario Kart 7, I used it for Mario 3D Land, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Do we need to get back on topic?
Yeah, probably.
We're awesome.
We were on topic for the longest, about 10 minutes that time.
We're good. We're good. Sorry guys. Honestly, I don't know how much more I really have to say. I think we pretty much covered it because it's so hard to theorize what the internet would be like because, like I said before, it's so socially ingrained now. I mean, everything is connected, which is kind of scary to a point.
I think if someone that lived in the 80s had a discussion like this, they'd probably have a lot more to say because they actually grew up in a world where the internet really didn't exist. And it's kind of hard to do that because we're sort of in a hybrid generation. Because, you know, half of our childhood we had internet, but it wasn't very functional, and now we do have internet and it's extremely functional and we use it every day.
Yeah, I don't think I started actually using the internet until I was about maybe 10 or 11 probably. That's probably when I actually started using it for like its purpose. Otherwise, yeah. I would look up something every now and then, maybe to use like for an assignment, like in elementary school, but even then it was so horrible. I didn't even want to go near my computer, really. I'll go play games on it, but I don't want to use it for anything else. Yeah,
when I was a kid, I only used it for video games, and then when I got to about 12 or 13, I started to actually use the internet.
Yeah, because then it started becoming a lot more accessible, and website design was finally a thing. So, yeah, hell, websites...
HTML was improved.
Oh my god. Yeah, HTML, what was it, 2 or 3? Oh, that was crap.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, it's so bad that in 10th grade, I was able to learn how to use that HTML 2.0 in a matter of a couple of months. That's how bad it was.
Oh my god. Yeah, HTML4 is really when it started skyrocketing and got a lot better, a lot more features, which is nice.
XHTML is when it really started to get good.
Well, yeah, that's true. Now, HTML5 is awesome. Yeah. I love it. Oh, man. Actually, we can talk about online gaming, because it's so big nowadays. Like, everything has to have multiplayer.
Except Nintendo products.
Yeah.
Because most of them don't have it.
I think this is something that actually, that's actually really important. Nintendo as a whole, because they've been around so long and they actually do produce games, unlike Sony and Microsoft who have studios for that. Nintendo games, they still feel retro in a sense, because they're so, I don't want to say simple, but they're so focused on gameplay, which is nice, because it's one of the only companies out there I know of that does that still. You know, some of the only third-party games I can think of that do that are maybe like Sega games or like Rockstar games, or maybe...
Platinum Games.
Yeah, Platinum Games does that. Square Enix, kind of. They have a few games that do that, but there's so many other games that are becoming more cinematic, which is really sad because I like Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy a lot, but their Final Fantasy, man, has gone downhill so bad.
I've heard, I don't really play Final Fantasy, but I've seen the development of the series, and I'm like, wow, whatever happened to the first one? Now it's like completely different.
Yeah, now they're basically taking cues from Kingdom Hearts and they're just mixing it with Final Fantasy. And it's just, I'm excited for Final Fantasy 15 because it'll be vastly different from 13, which is a real nice, I can't even think right now. It's a nice, I really cannot think of an analogy. I'm taking a deep breath because it's just nice to see that it's not Final Fantasy 13 because that game is an abomination. I cannot stand that game in all its forms. I hate it. But, oh, wow. And you know what's nice is people on the internet I can see hate it too, and otherwise I'd feel alone and depressed because I think I was the only person who'd hate Final Fantasy 13 if the internet didn't exist.
There's a crowd for everybody in the internet.
Internet's a good breeding ground to complain on if you want. We could talk about that.
Alright.
Or we could just end. Because we just keep getting off
well,
topic.
we've been talking for almost half an hour, you know. I think we've had a very decent discussion about the interwebs.
Yes. Yes, we have.
I drank a whole Izzy, too.
Izzy is awesome. Oh my god.
Izzy's fantastic.
I'm
not even trying to do product placement. This is great stuff.
I got Dr. Pepper right now, and that's also amazing, but I would love an Izzy.
I would give you an Izzy, but you live far away.
Mm-hmm. I live too far to get your Izzy. Yep. That sounds pretty bad, actually. Give me your Izzy. Alright, well, let's end it there.
Alright, guys. Alright, guys. So, look, we plan on having these discussions once a month. So, if you have any topic ideas that you would like us to touch on, related to video games at least, please let us know. Leave a comment below. Share your thoughts. All that good stuff. Yeah,
we promise we'll get better as time goes on. We need to get used to talking about things.
Yeah, I've never tried podcasting stuff before, so this is brand new to me, so yeah. We will get better.
We will. We will.
Alright guys, see you later.
Alright guys, see you later.
Hi people. So if you like my videos, you can click these little boxes right here. It's really a sweet deal. You can watch more of my videos. It's cool. So do it!